Alrighty, everybody. Hey, Steve here. Yeah, we are back, and what we're ended up doing is we're checking out, kind of like what it says here, Makerworld MakerLab has a bunch of different tools, as you can see, is scrolling by. And one of those tools is you can make busts, you can do pictures and make bobbleheads and figures and emojis and things like that. But this next one right here is Tripo, which you can take an image to model. It is pretty interesting. So we're going to take a look at that. That is going to be an interesting one. Now, in a previous video, we already did a few of these, and it turned out pretty good. It turned out pretty good. So if we go back, let's go back, boom, let's go back, and where we're going to go create stunning 3D models from a single image with Tripo 3.1 Ultra. Now, this is kind of interesting because we did a number of models like this model here. This was a gaming model figure that we ended up doing. And for those of you who are into Warhammer, this might look familiar. So George says howdy, and that he's going to be lurking around because he's doing some cooking. George is our resident chef, so that's cool. No problem with that. So yeah, this ended up where we had a picture that looked like this, and it put it into this MakerLab image to model, and this is what we came up with, and it came up with a 3D representation. I don't know how Tripo 3.1 Ultra does this, because how do you get the back details like that when the back details are not evident in the picture? Yeah, that is crazy. Or the underside. I don't know if it references and does searches to find similar images, and then it takes that as, an algorithm best guess and, of how it's constructed. That's kind of crazy on what this could end up doing. Now, we did some other models. Let's see, what are, like we did this one here. This one was another Warhammer model, and we just took the picture off of what we found on the interwebs, and we plugged this in, and that is fantastic. Holy crow. And again, that's with Tripo 3.1 Ultra. So what we're going to end up doing, we did some other models, and I found out there's different programs that you can use. Like here's one, again, this is Tripo, but it lost some of the connection point between the model and how it connects up. There's that empty space there, so we had to add some stuff in there. But the rest of it is just incredibly detailed. That is just insane. It even got the little leg in there and all that stuff. That is crazy. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to generate a new model, and we've got different options that you can end up using. So what we'll end up doing is let's go to downloads, and if we can find the picture of the thing, this is it right here, and we'll bring this in, and we got some different options here for being able. So you got Tripo Standard, you got Rodin, and these have prices on them. So that's like 80 credits. I've got 704. I think I got like 1,000 credits for $8. So the import cost some credits, to generate it cost some credits, and they got different ones. This one down here, Meshy 6. I tried like the Rodin Gen 2.5 Extreme High. Wasn't really impressed with that. So I see a lot of stuff for Meshy 6, and there's a discount, so it's only 24 credits. So what we'll end up doing is we'll do this, and we'll generate. And 24 credits, we're going to confirm. So it's going to take about 3.5 minutes of wait time. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to jump over here to the desk, because we end up having if my thing will go. Let's go to the desk. Yes, here we are. And we're not doing the unboxing anymore. But we do have this guy right here that printed up. And this was the model. That was the model that printed out. That with the Tripo 3.1 Ultra off of that photo of a $400 model. And we did the print there. So what we'll end up doing is we'll go over there and we can, get the top-down view. We had a little bit of stringing in some missed places on there with printing it. I think it was like 31 hours worth of printing. I did like 3 walls. I should have just done 2. There's definitely ways that I could have cleaned that up a little bit so it wouldn't have taken as long. I went through, matter of fact, in Creality Slicer, took the different settings for supports. Like I added more supports because there was an issue there. And then I reduced the infill. I think I did adaptive cubic and it went from 31 hours to 24 something. And then there's still some more tweaking that I could end up doing. And then of course, I printed this all at once. So it's all one model. The other thing I'm looking at doing is splitting that, doing a planer cut and cutting it in half and then put those together. And so, matter of fact, let me just kind of show you what we got here. So this is the model here. And that is the Tripo 3.1 Ultra model. And you can see the details on there. Now, the slicing program did say that it wanted, oops, you guys aren't with me. Because I didn't do the screen share. Imagine that. You can't see it if I don't share it. I need coffee. Don't you love live videos? So anyway, here is that model. And the details on it are pretty wild. I mean, that is kind of insane on the details that we get on this thing. I mean, it's not as crisp and clean, but for something that, that worked out pretty good. And again, if we did the rendering of this and slice up the plate, it would come out to whatever it was, 24 hours. This was 31 hours. But if we went to this one here, what I found is that when I did a planer cut and cut it in half and then add a couple of connectors on there or whatever, that we would get some better results and we would have less supports on there. So this is, let me see, can we get the preview in there? There it is. And you can see we don't have many supports. We got some supports there, but it's nowhere near the amount of supports that we had before. So if we take a look at this, it's going to be $6.33, 316 grams, 24 hours and 34 minutes. And if we go back, I bet you we can do this. It's at a layer height of 0.12. And let's take this down to 2 walls. And we've got 10% infill adaptive cubic because it's just a model. It's not like it's going to be doing anything crazy. And so now if we slice the plate, we'll see significantly less supports, which means less material, which means less printing time. So this is going to take a while to do. So let's see if we can go back to our model on Meshy 6 and we'll see the comparison between Tripo 3.1 Ultra versus the Meshy 6. And so Meshy 6 has got some more details compared to, we got some of the cabling and stuff like that, which is more, that is kind of wild. And then we've got some more details on the bottom. This would be an interesting, except we get this weird thing in the back. I mean, what is that? Let's see if we can take a look and we can see the model there. Maybe that's not a good one. Maybe we can just do it in white. I'll kind of zoom in. So you see we got cables and stuff like this. So it's a lot more detailed. We get kind of that stuff there. But from this picture here, this is what amazes me, is we've got this picture here, and then when we go to take a look at what we ended up here, it made the back and the whole 9 yards. I don't know about this here. I mean, that compared to what we ended up on, I don't know, there's some good things on this, like the weapons. We get some more details on that, on the weapons versus the other one. So let's just go ahead and we'll export this. What the hell? We'll confirm that. It's going to take a little while, but as soon as that finishes up, and we're still cranking on this. Such timing, such timing. So now, line type, there we go. So support is only going to be 12%, whereas the other one was some huge, massive amount. But now we're looking at 20 hours and 41 minutes, 259 grams. Cost is going to be $5.18. So we can see the amount of supports is significantly less, especially when we take a look at what we have on the desk and all of the supports there. It is a massive amount. So matter of fact, if we go back to this guy here, and we'll go ahead and let that process, that's going to take a little while. But, and this one is still exporting. So far, Meshy 6 does some stuff, and we'll download the STL. And it says you can use this for commercial purposes, just, you know, powered by Makerworld image to text or whatever, image to 3D model. And there it is. So now, well, that's still going to take a while. It's going to take a minute. So let's go ahead and we'll go back to the desk here. Let's take a look at this model and I'll kind of show you what we got going on, because this ended up being huge. And we do have some messed up areas on this. So that's a lot of supports, as you can see there. And we do have, I don't know what the deal was on this, but we got some stuff that just didn't print. I don't know if it was supports or a combination of the two, but we can. And I kept having problems with supports on this thing. Like I went through like 3 iterations. It was like 3 iterations, and I kept getting some bad juju. Supports, you know, weren't sticking to the plate, even though the plate was clean. I mean, you know, clean it and microfiber cloth and the whole 9 yards. Everything was good. I even it was with the original plate, but I had some issues where like there wasn't enough support, so I had to stop the print. I had to go back, and man, this thing is. And so I used some new glue on this, and holy crap! I got stuff all over the place. Can we get this off of here? So look at that. That is a hefty baby. So, but it looks pretty good. We got some, I did 3 interface layers on this. And that glue, the new glue that I'm using, holy crow, that stuff, that does really, really well. So with this is going to be the interesting little dog, because I changed the top Z distance to, I think it was 0.22, and I can already tell there's a difference in the adhesion is a little bit more. So this will be quite the thing. And the model in the slicer is still processing. Still didn't slice that plate up. Oh man. And I think I put too many supports on the sides, but it really needed those supports on there. I don't want to rip a nail. I was just too nervous. There we go. But man, this is going to take a minute, isn't it? And I think we're going to have to do a little, we have to, but the underside where the supports are at are pretty decent. I mean, we still got some, you can see there, we still got a little bit of rough texture, but it's not bad. Holy crow. I was hoping I would be able to just kind of like pop these off, but because of the things like the long legs and everything, this is going to take a while. And we're taking a long time on the model. It has taken entirely too long. So, but what we can end up doing, we'll save this towards the end, I think. So we'll set that aside. And let's go back to our slicer, because that is going to take a while. And let's get back to the share screen, and we can compare the two models. The one made with Tripo 3.1 Ultra versus the Meshy 6. So this was the Tripo 3.1 Ultra. You can see that there. Yeah, it's laid over the edge, I know, blah, blah, blah. And then now we'll go to our downloads, and we should have, there is the new one that we made with Meshy 6. So what we'll do is we'll import this one here into our model. And yeah, oh, it's a little bit smaller. It's like crabs. So what we'll end up doing is we'll look at our scale here, and our scale is 165 by 240 by 180. So we'll do the same scale on this. 165 by 240 by 180. And we can kind of see this is a little bit, so it rendered it, it made it different for sure. We've got, let's go ahead and take this and make it the same color. So that way it's a fair representation. And we can see the difference between the two. So here we can see on the front of this one, I wish these little messages would just populate on the bottom. But we can see that when we look at this model, it is more in line or more accurately depicted as we saw in the photo. For like the front there, we can see kind of like the cannons on the side. We got some guns on here, the top. And of course, if we look on, you know, this whole part here and that backside, is really representative of what this model is in real life. So this is an excellent representation. This one here, we lost a lot of details because we don't have any guns up here like we do here. So it totally kind of wrote those things out. But what I do like is that it made the side weapons a little bit more detailed with kind of like that up there compared to you know, the model that we ended up having here with the weapons. If I can get off of this, there we go. The cannons, we don't have that longer cannon, so we kind of ended up with a little bit of a different gun on here. And if we go back to our reference picture there, we can kind of see we've got more detail on the guns. Now we don't have 3 guns up here, or guns that are pushing out here. But in this model, it added these guns. So, and actually I kind of like that. It does good. I wish we could take, well, we can actually. We could take the guns off of this one, and let's make that red. We could actually slice this one up, and we could take the gun off of this one here, and then we could kind of put it onto here. So we could, you know, we could cut this, we could add it on there. That wouldn't be too bad. So kind of interesting on how that works out. But as far as like this hump right here, it looks more like a spider, mechanized spider type thing bug versus the mechanical, more accurately represented heavy construct from the photo that we had. So, while the Meshy 6 does and did a better job with the firearm, we can also see that it did a little bit better with the front claws, or the front mandibles, I guess you could call them, because what we see there, let me see if we get rid of that. We see that on the model here, we've got like 3 prongs, and then it kind of goes up here. So on our model here, we've got a good representation of that, except it comes down to a point. So it didn't get that right. But I like that versus what we ended up here, which we only got like the 1. So, but, and if we look at the back legs ended up, on this one, ended up being better, because we can see that they ended up with kind of like, this one has 3, this one has, you know, this one kind of lost it a little bit. So, but on this one, on the red one with the Meshy 6, it didn't even put the 3 like it has on the picture. So if we end up kind of referencing the picture again, and we can see, well, on the back, it just has the single. Okay. So it just has the single on the back. So that one has the single on the back. So that's more accurate to the photo. This one created 3 when the 3 should have been on the front. But for a proxy unit, out of these 2, between the Meshy 6, I think I would have to choose the Tripo 3.1 Ultra. So yeah, that ends up, that is, I think that one's a lot better. The other thing we're going to end up doing is, like I said, we're going to go through here and take this, and since we split it in half, we'll save a lot of filament. So let's go ahead and put this guy back here. We'll make this one the boss. And let's see if we can't slice this plate up and see how long this is going to be. The original one was like 31 hours and 40 some odd minutes, or whatever, 34, 43 minutes. So that is going to take a minute to do. But when it's sliced in half and we kind of, you know, like we did on the other one, we got it down to like 20 hours, which isn't bad. Or like 24 hours. No, it was 20 hours and 46 minutes or something like that, whatever it was. It definitely will save some filament. And I think on the support removal, instead of having this mass of instead of having this mass that we have here, and trying to get all these off, this is going to be real time intensive, but not bad, not bad. And actually, this turned out good. So for a proxy unit, I would say this one would be the way to go. So, but we just, there's some, I did on this one, you can see that over here we've got the little tentacle that's going down, and then on this one we had a failed support, and so it didn't print. So I'm going to have to go through and like cut this up and do planer cuts, which, by the way, there's a new program out, an online cutting program. And I forgot what the name of that is. I guess we can take a look at that. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's called Multi-Part 3D. And I guess we can we'll just go ahead and take a look at this and see what we can end up doing. This Multi-Part 3D, and let me just go ahead and put the link in the comments here. Multi-Part 3D. Now, this is a browser-supported thing where you can cut your models. It's a little slow, especially with larger models. And let's go ahead and do the share screen, and we'll take a look at this baby here. And we can see if we can do something. The cool thing about this is this Multi-Part 3D allows you to cut and split STL and 3MF models in your browser, then snap parts back together with built-in connectors. You never have to leave your device. In other words, your models aren't going to be put up into the cloud or accessed by some company in China or the United States for that matter. So what we could end up doing here is we could take our downloads and we will take where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I did chop up some other stuff. There it is. There is our model. So we'll bring this over here. And so now we've got a few things with this. So there's our model. It's looking pretty good. And again, this is all browser driven. So let me see. There we go. So you got left click, right click on your mouse, and then zoom. You can use your wheel. But there's a few things that we need to look at here. Let me close this up here. And in Multi-Part 3D, you've got this side over here, this column to where you could have the name of the item. And I don't think you could change that. Can you? Nope. The dimensions, it'll give you the dimensions 64 by 61 by 100. So it hasn't been resized, but we're not too worried about that. And then it's got different printers over here. So you can select different printers. It does have Creality, but it doesn't have the K2+. So as far as the dimensions, what we'll have to do is go all the way down to where it hits custom. And then we can put in 350 cube by 350 because I have the Creality K2+. And so there is our model. And then on the size, we can actually adjust this. So now we know that the X is going to be 165. Oops. $165 by 240. Not 1240. And then this one was 180. Okay, and now we can see that that is kind of represented on our build plate area. So again, it's a cool looking model. But with this, the cool thing is you can drop the model, you can center it, you can reset. If you move it around, you can rotate it and things like that. But then up here at the top, you have some different cutting options. You have a planer cut, you have an area cut, you can do a dovetail joint, and then smart detach, where you can it'll analyze the model and take it apart or split it into parts. So like maybe if you wanted to do resin printing or something. But what we're going to end up doing is we have a regular planer cut. And again, it's a little slow, but you can go ahead and move this. Of course, you can rotate it around and you can add some connectors in there. If we add connectors, you have the choice of plug, dowel, snap fit, pinhole, or magnet. which is really nice. I like that. In magnet, though, you only have 6x3, 8x2, and 10x3. So you only have 3 different options. You could switch between the different parts. If we do a pinhole, you know, if you want to do that, they have snap fit connectors, small, medium, large, annual, arrow, cantilever, dual. They have dowels, small, medium, large, which is circle, square, hex, or triangle, and then you could do a plug. So we got that there. We're going to go ahead and cancel this because you do a planar cut, the cut is going to cut across the entire plane. So whatever is in that plane is going to get cut. And a lot of people have problems with this because it's like, well, if I was doing a model, like a complicated model like this, if I wanted to take this and then cut it up, and let's say I just want to cut the leg off. Like for example, if we look at, if I can figure out my mouse controls, like this piece right here ends up, that piece didn't print out. So I want to cut just that. Well, with most slicing programs, you'd have to do a planar cut to cut, you know, probably pretty much right across here. And then you'd have to take that, you'd have to do a cut here, you'd have to do a planar cut here, and then throw away the other ones. In other words, it's very time intensive. But with this area cut, watch this. We can do an area cut and boom, we can bring this here and we'll pull this out here, and it's a little slow. But with this, you have the choice of the rectangle or the circle. And let's take a look at how we could end up doing this into where now we can rotate this and do like so. Do you see what I'm getting at? Let me see if I can bring this in. It is a little bit labor intensive, but that's because I'm doing my streaming software and we also have Creality Print going on in the background. But now I can change the size of the radius. Come on, you can do it. Boom. And then I can move this a little bit over. So I could do this. So that way, only this part of the model will be cut. So let me go ahead and bring this here. We'll bring it up. And it is a little slow. But let's say I just want to print this leg, this entire leg, because this is the only thing that didn't print. So now, because we can change that radius of the model, that planar cut is now reduced to a smaller size, and we can kind of move the position using these sliders here. But again, it's a little funky. Let's see if we can get back. But there, boom, we would be able to cut that. And we could add connectors if we wanted. But we're just going to cut this here, and we'll see. Let me make sure that that is, we want it a little bit over. And so we'll pull this over here. And like I said, we could end up making the making it a little bit smaller. And it's a little painfully slow. But now we've isolated that one part. So now check this out. We can do the cut. And again, this is a browser. This is free, which is awesome. And if we click on this part right here, we should have where up on this side here, that's where we've got that part. So now I can go ahead and download that part. And if we go to our downloads and we pop this thing up, there is the part that we cut. So we have more control over the cut. So if we have a failed part on a model, kind of like what we did on our massive model here that didn't print out that one tentacle, what I could end up doing is going through, let me close some of these windows out, and let me close this because we need to And now we can do those different cuts. So not only can we do the planar cut like we see up here, we can do an area cut, which can either be a square, a circle. We can change the radius or the size of that square, circle, rectangle thing, whatever we want to make it. And we can individually cut extremities or parts. So is that not cool? That is really, really cool. So if you have a big model like this and you say, okay, well, the leg on this thing didn't print out, instead of going through and doing a planar cut and doing, 4 or 5 extra cuts and clicks and movements and stuff like this, I can just go to an area cut. And again, this is all on web browser. And so, yeah, it's a little bit slow. And let's say we want to bring it like this. And I'm still getting my... Seriously, come on. There we go. And then we can go ahead and move this here. We'll go ahead and move this here. Because let's say we want to do this leg. And then we're going to push this back. And again, it's a little slow. And if we want to do something like this, where we want just this piece right here, and we can reduce the radius like that. I'm sorry, it's so a little painfully slow. I'm trying to... And then we could go through and we could reduce the radius even more to like that. And then we could even take this so it doesn't touch that other piece. And now we could just go ahead and do our cut. We got Ferrithus pops in and says, good morning. Good morning, sir. And so now I can grab this piece. Oh, okay, so a cut. I must have done 2 cuts or something. But what I could end up doing, that is odd. Let's go ahead and undo that. I must have done 2 cuts. So let's go back and we do the area cut. And again, it's a little slow because of the streaming software. Got Creality Print going. I've got some other stuff in the video capture stuff. It's going to take a little minute. So we can go ahead and we just go over here. I'll bring it up. We could take that part there and we can just do something like this. And then we can go ahead and just kind of rotate this around to make sure that we're getting everything cut that needs to be cut. Come on. This is the right mouse key, and then the left will do the rotate. So we can do that, and then we can go ahead and place the cut. The window doesn't overlap the model, move or resize it. Okay. So it does have a couple of problems. This is the first version of it, so it does have a few issues. So you might have to make some changes and then place the cut, which for some reason, I don't know, let's try rectangle and see if that works. So that's the only problem that I've noticed. Let's try rotate a little bit. We'll do that, and then we'll see if we can do a cut. Nope, it's not letting us do it. So there are some problems with this. It's not 100%. I would say I get this problem with fiddling around with this probably about 60% of the time, 70% of the time. No, it's the other way. About 40% of the time, I'll have problems like this where I'll have to move it or change it, just have to go back into it. Other times, it works out perfectly, so I don't have any problems whatsoever. As far as the planer cut, because that's a single plane cut, I don't see any problems with that. I haven't experienced any problems. It's only when you do the area cut. So we got that there. Let's take a look at the Smart Detach and take a look at that. And Ferris got a comment. So let me see if we can get this. We can get this in frame, blah, blah, blah. And because we've got this model, and click a raised feature. So let's go ahead and we'll click a raised feature. The selection flows to the concave crease where it meets the rest. Auto finds a natural boundary per click. Drag the slider to override. Shift click to add more regions. So if we kind of do that, let's see. No region selected. And of course now it's not going to want to play with this model for some strange reason. I wonder if I have to restart it. But this is version 1.0. So let's go ahead and restart. And we'll get our download. We'll throw this in here again. I'll close that. And now let's go ahead and do the Smart Detach and we'll see how this works out. Smart Detach, so let's zoom in here. This is that weird one. Let's just click on one of that. And there, you could do something like that. And then that, when you do the detach, it'll go through and you can set the variable of how many parts or what encompasses that selections. So we could take this part here, and now that that is selected, it's over here, and then we could download that as a separate part. So a cool little tool, and again, it's free, you know, which isn't too bad. You know, free is good, free is nice. But with that, I thought that was a cool little tool because we've been talking about, you know, splitting softwares and things like that on how to do cuts. Ferris says you can do that in Creality Print, but it's a little bit more cumbersome using multiple cuts. Yeah, that's exactly what we ended up talking about there, was the doing planer cuts. Oh, here is the, let's go back to Creality Print, because it finally processed. And so the big model that we have here, how many hours that this took, ends up that it was 1 day, 8 hours, 25 minutes, 380.7 grams. And if we go down to where it says support, we used 172 grams of filament for supports. So what I ended, that's a lot of support material and a lot of wasted support material, and I wasn't thinking. I should have gone back to like when I split up this Void Dragon, cut it in half. It wasn't until later that I did a similar thing where I did a planer cut. And like Ferris was saying, is that, yeah, I could go through, I could do a planer cut like this. I could go through, I could do another planer cut, you know, and move this around to get that individual weapon and whatever. It's a lot more clicks, but I like the area cut that you can do in that program, which, what was that called again? Multipart 3D, which is a free program. And the link is in the comments, how you can reduce the size of what you want to cut instead of cutting across the entire plane. You can reduce that down to a specific area. So say, for example, if we had something here that we wanted to cut, and maybe it was like a person or a body, or maybe think of an arm, we just wanted to cut the arm, and then there's other things, we could reduce that plane, the outside dimensions of the plane, down to a smaller area and then cut that, which is pretty cool. I wish some slicing companies, you know, maybe that will become a thing. But with this, I was trying to figure out a way how we could reduce the amount of filament. And again, what did we end up having on this? With the preview, on the other one. Now we got to let this thing go. This one was, look at how many supports. 35 grams versus, and this one's going to take, well, it shouldn't take too long. So 35 grams of support material, and on this one, it is 172. So yeah, it would behoove you, it would behoove you to split your model in two and reduce the number of supports that you have. And actually, I think we would have less problems because we don't have a ton of supports. And on top of that, this came down to 20 hours and 44 minutes, and it's only going to cost $5.18. And the supports that we have are very minimal. And because of this model and how everything is put on here, I think we would get a lot better results than what we did with the big mamba that we had on this one here. So yeah, some good stuff, some good stuff. So will Creality print or Orca or Prusa or, you know, whatever, what's the slicer for bamboo? I'm not sure. What is that? Where it is, Bamboo Studio, that's it. So Bamboo Studio, Prusa, Orca Slicer, and Creality, if they can get to a point of where they can do that area planer cut, that would be, I think, a really, really cool thing. I think I need to send some emails and say, hey, y'all need to get your stuff together, because people are doing it for free in a browser. I'm sure you could figure out how to do it in your slicing program, which is open source. So if one company does it, everybody would basically be able to do that. So yeah, that's what we got going on. I think what we'll end up doing is we can go over to the studio, and we will do green because we're doing the Necron thing, and we'll take the supports off of this bad boy. So let's go ahead and grab our guy. We'll get this. And oh, it should be noted, I am unsupervised today. And we will do this here. The wife is out with the daughter. They're out doing mother-daughter things. And so this is going to be the thing that we're doing. Ferrithus says it usually lands in Orca Slicer first, then the big guys like Creality and Bamboo copy it over. Yeah, I still say Orca Slicer should just be the slicing company, and then the other companies just pay Orca to do it. So I'll just do a little bit of finagling here. Kind of cut these off, and boom, we're good to go. We're gonna have a lot of supports. I really wasn't thinking. I was just like, hey, print in place, do it once. These supports will come off. We'll be good. I really wasn't thinking on, trying to save a ton of material, which I should have, because it would have made this easier to do. But then again, when I did that, it was a little late in the day. So we're gonna have to do the little operation thing here. So, and we're gonna have a bunch of support material, bunch of wasted support material. And then the other bad thing about this is that this is PLA plus, so it's pretty durable. And some of these are going to be hard to do. Like we've got this little hose that comes down, and it is impacted with, oh, that wasn't too bad. Ooh, look at that. It actually came out okay. Not bad. I thought that would be, I thought that would snap off. Hold on a second. Let me get my trash can, because we're going to have a lot of supports on this thing. But like I said, this one was made off of the photo with MakerLab with image to model. And the cool thing is that we got the best representation from that photo from that. We tried the Meshy 6, and honestly, it just kind of, it wasn't like true to what we saw in the picture. So yeah, it'll be an interesting little thing. It seems like the Tripo 3.1 Ultra does a lot better job. And you're going to pay a little bit for like the credits, you know, for that, but it's not bad. You know, we got 1,000 credits for $8, and then the generation of this, you know, generating the model wasn't too bad. So, and especially if you're doing like one-off stuff or whatever. But my question is, this is going to be interesting, is I'm wondering, is someday, is a company that is trying to protect their IP, international property, or whatever the hell that stands for, their IP, intellectual property, are they going to go after some of these companies that create this image to model stuff, which basically allows anyone to infringe upon their IP rights? So you have companies like, for example, Games Workshop, which is going after creators that are making models that are similar to their stuff. And they're even going after people that are making models that aren't even similar, which is kind of scary. But with that, is Games Workshop going to go after some of these companies like Tripo or Meshy 6 or that Rodan whatever, or, you know, there's a number of companies that offer this software to make models, and are they going to go after them? I think that they will eventually. Now, it should be noted that Games Workshop is supposedly using an AI company out of India to go after, you know, models, or actually creators or people that are making models that are similar to their stuff. And so stuff gets flagged, and then they report that to YouTube. They'll report it to, you know, like Makerworld or different sites that hosting models, and they can get those people banned. They can get their entire channel shut down, even if the model is not a direct ripoff, that's problematic. But I think, honestly, this Indian company, it wouldn't surprise me if we found out that this Indian company isn't really AI that just scours the interwebs. I think it is. I think we got a broken piece there. Yep, we do. That wasn't connected well. Okay. So we'll keep that. But it wouldn't surprise me if this Indian company was actually just a bunch of Indians that are just scouring the interwebs and saying, hey, that looks like a model. And when in fact, it's not even a GW model. It's something that's totally separate. And they're just, you know, GW doesn't care. You know, they're just oh, you found a model? Okay, we'll just automatically send out a cease and desist. We'll go to YouTube. What we'll end up doing is we will flag their channel. They'll get copyright infringement notice, and if you get 3 of those, boom, you can get your channel shut down. And the appeal process is so automated and lacks human interaction that, you know, people are like, well, that's it, I'm done, and they can't get their channel, and they lose money. And some people have lost their channels that don't even, they're not direct infringement on the Warhammer IP, which is bullshit. And when you have an automated system of appeals to where you can't talk to a person, and really what it comes down to, let's say somebody gets their stuff taken down by Games Workshop, and it's clearly not Games Workshop infringement. There's been people who have gotten their stuff taken down that isn't even Warhammer or sci-fi, unfortunately. So that's a problem. But GW doesn't care. So, yeah. Ferris says, unsupervised Steve, lock the doors. Blood for the blood god. It's support removal time. Yes, it is. So, yeah, I think this is going to be problematic, because then you're going to get some problems where GW is just suing the creators. But I think there's going to come a time where they're going to sue some of these companies like Tripo or, you know, Rodan, or, you know, some of the other ones. Morning. Here it's the middle of the night with Swedish Forge. What's up, brother? Good seeing you. Yeah, it's about 8:53. So, and it's hot and humid. Holy crow. And it's not even the worst of summer yet here in Korea. That is still coming. We just had our monsoon season, which is basically over, and the next thing is going to be the horrible Korean summers. Because it's been getting 90s, and then the humidity has been in the 80s. It's just been miserable. So, yeah, it's just going to be ugliness. We had some failed supports on this thing. This is going to be a bear. Holy crow. And you know what I really need? Look at all of these. That is insane. Come on. So yeah, this is, I wasn't thinking when I was like looking at this. I thought, you know, oh, it'll just print out. I'll just take off the supports. It'll be easy. But I did use more supports than usual because I was having issues with that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Swedish Forge says, Steve, have you seen my last print? No, I haven't. Shoot me an email. We'll take a look at that after we take a look and see what's going on. We'll see if I give up on this thing. I already have supports flying across. And for the small stuff, I can just cut some of this stuff out. Is that a support? Nope, that's not a support. That is the actual model. Don't cut the model, Wilson. Don't cut the model. Cutting the model is bad. Okay, Swedish said he sent that to me, so we'll have to take a look at that. And I wasn't really thinking because this is PLA plus, so it's a little bit more hard and durable. So it probably wasn't a real good idea to use that for this model. But it was cheap. So, and again, I wasn't thinking. I should have taken this and cut it in half and printed it, which I'm probably going to do. Okay, not too bad. Because we did have that one leg that isn't attached to anything. So it's funny because my wife comes into the room and she's like, "There's plastic everywhere." It's like, sorry. And I should have done just 2 walls because this is 3 walls. So it's like, yeah, this is going to be a doozy. This is definitely going to be a heavy duty model. Okay. Okay, we're making a little bit of progress. Dun, 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 dun. I need like some longer cutters. I might have to pull out the ultrasonic cutter for some of this. See how it goes. Now you've received an email from the little Sweden, that faraway country that you know. Cool. We'll take a look at that. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Let's go ahead and get this going. See if we can do some cutting here. I tell you, this ultrasonic cutter is great. Dun, 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 dun. I just need like a long samurai blade for this thing. This is going to be a bear. And that PLA Plus is, it is sharp. If you haven't cut yourself with supports yet, are you even really a 3D printer person? Do you have any experience? I think not. If you haven't stabbed yourself with supports in between your finger and fingernail, I don't think you're a real 3D printing person. Okay, dun, 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 dun. So yeah, it seems like right now though, the Tripo 3.1 Ultra is better than Meshy 6 for this type of model and for miniature pictures altogether, which is pretty impressive to say the least. Let's see, can we get this guy out of there? Seriously? There we go. We're getting there slowly but surely. That's delicate. Oh, we got a massive, little tiny all caught up in the details in there. The ultrasonic cutter's the way to go. Look at that. Just being able to get into those small little places. It needs a little bit of a longer blade. I think there is a longer blade. There we go. Nice. Now we can get into here and get out some of this stuff. I don't want to get too crazy on that. See if we can just get some of the smaller stuff, or the bigger stuff. We'll save the smaller stuff for a little bit later. And just kind of get the out there. Are we having trouble removing the supports? A little bit, yeah, because I decided to print this like this with a buttload of supports instead of doing a planer cut across it. And then, yeah, I wasn't thinking, which happens a lot. I try not to do it as much, but yeah, we're having a few troubles. And it's also compounded by the fact that the filament is PLA plus. So it's a little bit more durable, sharp, brittle than than regular PLA. So we're having fun. Yeah, we're having fun with it. And again, if I ended up splitting this the right way, we would only have 35 grams of support material versus the buttload that we see here. So, and yeah. And then maybe tree support slim would have been better, but I kept getting errors. So there's that. So I beefed it up to regular tree support, and now we're dealing with what happens when you have giant tree supports. And let's see if we can remove some of this. Da-da. Like that. But it is brittle, so that does help a little bit. We're going to do this one here. What else is... There we go. I printed a chain riser for my K1 Max. The sport came off easily. Hey, cool. I wasn't really thinking about when I was doing this, that's for sure. But for next time, it will be better. And I think, honestly, I think I had for my top Z distance, if I'm not mistaken, was 0.2, which normally I have a 0.26. So yeah, that might have had something to do with it as well. I don't know. We shall see. This is going to be a bear. This one right here. So yeah, I think I'll print this out again. Do a planer cut right across there, like we saw in the slicing program. Yeah, we lost that one leg. Or did we? Where did this leg come from? Or did we? Maybe we didn't. Huh. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh. I don't know. My top Z is 0.28 with perfect with their models. Yeah, maybe I need to crank mine up a little bit. And I'm going to aid in the smooth removal. Probably would have been a good thing with this model here. But there's a lot of recesses. Yeah, we got some weird stuff there. We're gonna have to I don't know. Removing these supports is pretty hard. I'm wondering if I put the wrong setting or didn't even change it. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to double check because I'm definitely going to print this again because I want it to be a little bit better details because we did lose some details on this. And we'll say that. Getting there. Getting there. This one is getting. So the underside's a little rough, but again, it's going to be sitting on the table. It's not like you're going to look at the bottom of this. So I'm not too concerned with that. Come on there, get out of there, you little guy. There we go. Get that out of there. Grab that. Oh, I think I just popped something right there. Yep, sure did. That's part of the model, so we don't want to get rid of that. That would be bad. But we can get these little pieces out. There we go. And that one. And that one. Dun dun dun. Sweetie says, have you seen the new print that makes some kind of support you can wash off support with water? Yeah, I did, matter of fact. We talked about that in some previous videos, especially with some models. And if you're doing stuff like this, especially miniatures, yeah, do the water soluble supports. That could be a cool thing, because then, you know, you just stick in water and boom, you know, you wait and then just it all dissolves away. Of course, the print would obviously have to take longer. But yeah, that could be a cool idea. But then, if it did that, I wouldn't have all this fun. I wouldn't be able to hang out with a bunch of cool people like you all. I guess I could. We could just sit and watch water. See how that goes. Okay, we're getting a little bit better. Holy crow. That is going to be that piece right there. How the heck? That is going to be interesting. How are we going to get in there? I mean, we could almost leave that in there. Well, no. Seriously. Seriously. I wonder. Yeah, I need to double check my top Z distance, because this is not what I'm normally used to. I'm seriously thinking I screwed that up. That is going to be fun. Okay, and there's these guys here. We're getting there. I'm definitely going to have to get the vacuum and clean up afterwards. You have some new print that makes, support. I think Creality should fix it so it becomes easier to cut models, like being able to draw where you want to do the cut. I just talked about that multi-part. If you look in the comments section prior, there is a browser-based planar cut, area cut software. So, yeah, what do we end up doing there? Let's have to do that, get that back on there. But to where you could do those cuts on an area cut, just like right around this leg, instead of having to do the entire plane. And you can make it into either a square, rectangle. You can change the dimension of it or the circle, the radius, and that's in the previous part of this video. So that would be pretty good. It works, but it's slow. But then again, that could be just because of, you know, I'm using the streaming software and it's probably maxing out my Mac. I got 32 gigs of memory, but I don't know. Ding, 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 ding. Stuff flying everywhere. So we're looking pretty good. Looking pretty good, except for these little pieces in here. Get out of there. Get out of there. You little bugger. That. There we go. Get these little pieces. But even then, even as much as I'm complaining about removing these supports and everything, and I could have, you know, I'll print out another one because I want it to be a little bit more pristine, and I think we'll get better results by splitting it in half, like doing a planar cut right across here, and then we'll have the two pieces on the build plate like I showed you, and we'll get a lot better results. We'll have less supports, we'll get more details, and we won't have the problems that we're having here, because we'll only have like 35 grams of filament instead of the huge amounts that we're getting right now. So, but for what it is, it's not bad. And can we get that out of there? Yes. Yay. A couple of... Yeah, I think I screwed up on the top Z distance on this. But... I mean, it's a little fugly on the bottom, but then again, it was kind of fugly on the model itself. So... And... So I'll have to glue that right there. But there it is. Not bad. Oh, we got it's a little stuff we got to do here. Like that. I really got to make sure I vacuum before the wife gets back, because she gets mad when there's little, like, these little pieces everywhere, because she'll step on it and be like, ah, and she really likes clean. So I got holy crow, I got a bunch on the floor. We're going to have to do some cleanup on here because there's definitely some areas that I don't need. So we'll just go ahead and we'll just cut right through. With our ultrasonic cutter hoozy thing, kind of clean it up like so. And we'll get that off of there. I think there's a larger blade on this, I think. A longer blade, which would be nice. And I'm not too worried about the underside. It's not that bad. But I do think we'll cut that out. Boom. I'll do the same thing on this one here. Boom. I can do a little bit of cleanup on that. Not too bad. Oh, we got some little ones. Some little ones. Those are going to be interesting. I can't tell if those are supports or if that's part of the model. We will find out. One of that is a little support right there. That little guy right there. And then that piece right there. Now maybe I'll just cut it a little bit. And maybe that'll, yeah. That is a support. I'll just cut it off and be good. Come on, get off there, Johnny. There we go. And we're good. Okay. Good little thing to put the trash can between your legs and just drop all the pieces off and you're good. We got a little man, that's sharp. Hard and sharp. And so yeah, not bad. I don't know where this came from. I have no idea. I'll have to look back on the model and see, because as far as I know, it was just supposed to be like this. Or like that. There we go. Yeah. And then we've got that little piece there that didn't come out well. Wait a second here. Yeah, that goes there. So we'll have to go through and we can put that on there. And then maybe I could take this piece here and cut it to make the piece like right there. So you just kind of join that in. And that'll be good enough. We could glue that on there and we could do that. That'll work. But since I'm gonna print this out again, I think we could go ahead and, you know, I could just glue it like this, so it's a little bit more, so kind of like up like that, so it's a little bit articulated, so it's not like just, you know, crab, but we got a little bit of action on there. Maybe we can do that. Let's see. So we can kind of go like that. And I think that would look okay. We got some area on there. Let's go ahead and let's see what we can do. That's almost good enough. We might not even need to cut anything. Interesting. I do want to kind of trim that a little bit. There we go. I don't know where this came from. That's interesting. So we'll go ahead and we'll put this guy up here like that. And we will have to super glue. Super glue the crap out of them. But I want a little bit of a flat surface right across here. Like that. It heated up the plastic. It's almost like I can weld it, which is basically what I'm doing. Yeah, a little bit of welding. But now we can go ahead and get our fantastical glue. So that way he'll stand up like that with his claw raised up, so it looks a little bit better. So we will just glue the crap out of him. How's that? A little bit of activator and we should be good to go. So we'll just kind of, oops, seriously. I'll do that. Don't want to get glue like all the way onto this thing. Save ourselves from that. And we'll put a bunch in there. Basically, we're just going to glue the crap out of it. That way we get a good amount. And I'll come in with our activator spray, this AG Adhesive Guru. And boom, that solids that up a bit. We're going to need some more on this top side. Ooh, that's going to be a little tippy. That is going to be tippy. Interesting. We're going to have to do something about that. The spritz. That frosts up and we're good to go. So we need to do something for weight. Interesting. Or, yeah, we're going to need to do something for the weight. We need something, because he's going to be tippy. I didn't think about that. But other than that, it looks good. A little bit of articulation in there, but we need something to make him heavy on this side. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. We'll figure out something. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Good to go on that, I think. There's a little area in there I still want to get. Right inside there. So we'll do one little bit of last glue and we should be good. And spritz away, and we are good. See a little frost action going, bam. As you can see there, we're good. So now we just need to do something for the, I'm wondering if I could heat this arm and take it over a little bit more, or I could just kind of put some type of weight on this side or something, because it's like almost there. Or I could cut a little bit here, because with these two legs, this one here and this one here, that's kind of, and if we cut these legs off a little bit, maybe it would go like that. So we could cut off enough to where I think that might be the thing to do. Let's try that. And I just happen to have a tool to do that. The Hozo Neo Blade. So yeah, let us begin. And what is going to be a good way to do this? I'll just cut off about, of course if we turn it on it works better. Imagine that, turning it on. What are the odds? Like so. Now, we're still going to need some weight, because Yeah, it's still a little bit. So we're going to have to do something creative with some weight. I don't want to cut too much off on that leg. But yeah, now we can do this piece here and kind of glue that. We can reshape this a little bit. So about right there. Like so. Where that is? No. So we can do something like that. And then we can just kind of trim this a little bit and make it the blade's getting a little dull. And I have been using the crap out of it. Some reshaping a little bit. So it kind of looks like the other piece. So I kind of do like that. And it's still a little long. No, actually, that's pretty good. I think that'll be good enough for government work. And we'll go back to our wonderful super glue. And we will do that. I think we got enough on there, maybe. A little bit more, I think we'll be good. Yeah, the wife and daughter had to go up to Seoul. So I'm totally unsupervised. Okay. So there, not bad. So we just needed to figure out a little bit on the weight on this. So I think probably what I'll end up doing is I'll just cut into here, put some weight or something. I don't know. What I could end up doing, if I was going to do this again, I could use that program, that multi-part program. I could cut this so that way we could have this articulated up, but then I could also, when I put this and export it into the slicing program, as I set it onto the build plate, I can kind of, set it down and sink it down below the work plane, so it'll cut this off, so we'll have more of a surface to where the weight is more distributed over to this side, so it'll sit good. Or I could just kind of go down and I could get a blowtorch and just kind of put this so it hits the ground. And I just so happen to have a blowtorch. And so what we could do is we could not touch the hot metal. So use these, and let's try this. And do this. And so that way, this thing will act as the leg. So just kind of stretch that a little bit. We'll let that dry, cool off, and that will fix our problem. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at that. Perfect. That works. So we have our little articulated, a little bit of wiggle there. But if we kind of put that down like that, it's still malleable. There we go. And then I could even do this with this one here. But you know what? For $7, almost $8, and a little bit of hard filament removal, we have a heavy construct with cannons. And this came out pretty good instead of having to pay $400 and having to put it together. So yeah, there it is. Not bad. Okay, let's go back to the chair. Oh, I got pieces that are even over here. I've got, oops, that's not what I want. What do I want? Do I want that or that? I want that. Okay. But actually I want this right here. Okay. I've got, oh no. I've got filament pieces that are all the way over here. Oh man, they're all over. I'm just gonna have to get the vacuum cleaner out and get all these. Holy crow. Ouch, those things are sharp. Yeah. Definitely have to clean up before the wife gets home. So there it is. It turned out pretty good. I think it turned out well. So we've got a little bit of a articulated dude here with some pretty good results. And I think by the time, this is 0.12 layer height, but I think once we throw on some filler primer, and then we could go to town and paint them. I think it turned out really well. I mean, let me bring up the picture of what this guy looks like. There it is. I'll do a little bit of cropping here, and so there, we'll put it in this corner here. So there is the model, and here is the model. So what do you think? That turned out pretty decent, huh? So, yeah, what do you think? Not bad for about $8 worth of filament. And the next one that we print out is going to be even less. So yeah, I don't think I'll prime this one. I'll just print out the other one. But I'm pretty satisfied with this. That is not bad. So I could throw him up. I might paint him. I don't know. Maybe I'll just spray can paint him. But it's amazing that we're able to take this picture, go to MakerLab on Makerworld and use some of their tools and boom, make something like this. Well, it makes, we just print it out. Swedish Forge says, don't forget the email. That's where we're going. So let me bring that up. Oh, let's see, what else do we got today? Today's weather is going to be hot. And it's going to be rough. Here in Korea, we're looking, it's 85 with some clouds. High is going to be 90. But when we look at humidity, where is humidity? Boom. Humidity is 77%, and we're going to be, ooh, oh my gosh, it's going to get rough. So it's going to drop down into, it's going to be the 70s. It's like 77 right now for humidity. But about 7 o'clock tonight, it's going to go up to in the 90s, probably about 95%, 96% humidity. And that is going to be crazy. And our temperatures for the 10-day forecast are going to be such. So that humidity is the killer for me. I get heat rashes. It's like, oh, it's just nasty. Okay, let's see what we got. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, cool. Oh, that is so cool. Oh, we got it. Swedish Forge has done this. And look at that. Sitting on his wall. That is cool. Look at that. He's got the Spider-Man dude. That is sharp, dude. That is totally cool. That is totally cool. And it's got kind of that spider noir, you know, the large eyes and everything. That is cool. Dude, that is awesome. Just a little fix. Oh, that is awesome. Wow. He is big and is on the wall. Holy crow. That is amazing. That's going to come out sharp, dude. Better than I thought. I worried with all the support material. Oh, yeah. The model there, this guy. Yeah, that was way too many supports. But in the other one I'm going to print, we won't have that problem. And I'll double check my top Z distance. Swedish Forge is like, look at him. He's all smiley, happy. That is cool. That is super, super cool. That is super cool. Time to paint Spidey. Well, it's spider webs too. Even without spider webs, that is cool. 4 days of printing. 4 days? How big is that thing? And how many printers do you have? And are you printing it with? That is cool. And what are the dimensions on that? That is so cool. Dude, that is 4 days printing nonstop. So how much filament is that? Look at that. And he used 2 K1 Max. Wow. Look at that, folks. That is cool. Dude, that is so cool. I have 2 favorite figures. Two favorite characters. The Hulk and Spider-Man. And it ends up being 4 kilograms. Wow. That. So the dimensions on that? Yeah. Ned Venom says, need size reference. Wow. That is cool. That is so cool. Dude, that would be something I would love to print something like that. And even if I only have one printer, I would love to do that. Now the most fun part is painting. Oh yeah. And that wouldn't be too bad, I don't think, because you could tape off a lot of that and you could spray can it to try to kind of not have enough to not go crazy with a paintbrush or anything. Sweetie said, I can send you the file. Dude, that would be awesome. Wow. Spider-Man. Let's see, like the color schemes. Spider-Man Noir. Dun, 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 dun. No, we don't want that one. So if we look at like Spider-Man here, kind of the same little thing that we got going on. So a lot of blue. You could since the majority is blue, what you could end up doing is taping off, the red areas. You could spray can the blue, and then you could go in with an airbrush to get like the shadow areas. That would make that a lot easier. And the reds and all that. Oh, that would look so good. Sweetie says, will you promise to print him? Yeah. Yeah, that would be wild. That makes me wonder on Spider-Man on a wall. So you got a lot of different, what I'm looking at is let's do the share screen here. That would be cool. That I would put that up on a wall for sure. So I'm wondering, Spider-Man on a wall. Of course, you could do something. Oh, in the corner. Oh, that would be cool. Spider-Man on a wall, on a corner. I'm wondering if. No, that's not it. Is that Makerworld? Dun, dun, dun. Or was it on the other page? Let me get back to see what else I got. Oh, yeah, here it is, the other page. I'm wondering if we could take let me check for Spider-Man on wall. Or on wall in corner. See if we get any decent pics on that. Nope, just on wall. And if we could take something like that and throw it into that Makerworld deal. Can it make an accurate Spider-Man? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I like the one in the corner. I'm wondering. But it doesn't have a really good representation of cancel. There you have it, bro. Oh, dude. That is awesome. Let me check my email. Oh, go back to email. Swedish says, oh, now you have it. Now I got to print it. I'm going to print it. That is cool. Let's see. And there it is. Boom. Wow. Download file. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We'll check that out. And it's downloading with transfer now. That's cool. You can send a little link, and it's available for X number of days. And yeah, there it is. We got it. Well, thank you very much, sir. Now we have now we got to print out Spider-Man. Oh, cool. That is awesome. So, thank you very much. You are so awesome. Oh, we'd have to do another. Wow. That is going to be cool. That Spider-Man is. So what are the dimensions on this guy? That 4 kilos. That is going to be wild. So little, so Steve. I have over 2 terabytes of files if you need something. Wow, that's crazy. Wow. Let me save this, my little doohickey model that we ended up doing. Let me save that. And we can bring in, once that's saved, and it's going to take a minute, because I do want to reprint this thing out. I'm waiting. Go ahead, come on. Now it's taking its sweet time. Probably because there's so many models to that project. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 plates on that. So, Sweetie says 60 by 40 by 50. When he sits down, he gets a little bit smaller. Okay, 60 by 60 by 50. Cool. Is that centimeters? So in other words, about 2 feet in freedom units. Just shy of 2 feet. That would be pretty cool. Wow. Support material popped all the way over here. Holy crow. Yes, centimeters. Yes. Wow, that's big. Yes, it is. That's going to be a cool looking model, bro. That is going to be cool. That is going to be worth doing. Why is my, seriously? I just try to quit my Creality print because it seems to be hanging up. And we'll restart. Yeah, and we'll restart. And we will put in a nice canvas to paint on. I know that is going to be a cool ass looking model. That is going to be cool. So what we'll end up doing, let's go ahead and we'll do a share screen. Excuse me. And we will bring in this. Renders STLs. Sweetest says, looks really cool when he's on the wall. Damn hell, I'm just saying. Oh, yeah. It looks way cool. Let me go back to here. I think there's a setting that changed because I'm not, it'll only do an active, like if I do the program, the Creality print, it shows, but as soon as I click on the downloads folder, it goes to that and it doesn't show Creality print. So I think I screwed something else. Let's see. He is in the body map. Okay. Let me look at that. Body map. Okay. Oh, he's got, oh, so it's kind of like a poster dude. Okay, gotcha. I see what's going on here. Colored figure poster. Check your file extensions in those settings. Yeah. Uncolored 3MS. Okay, that's not what I want. Dun, dun, dun. What did he say it was? He's in a body map. I'm assuming it's under STL's Spider-Man body. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. And I think that's it there. I'll see if we can get them all in here. No, we don't want that. And it's going to be a bunch of parts. So now let's do this. Okay. I think we got this going on. So there. Oh yeah, this would be a minute as far as printing. Yeah, I could see. Holy crow. Oops. Wilson, what are you doing? Let's see. Wow, that would be a lot of printing. Let's see if we can get this to... see if we can do auto minimize support orientate. Let's see how this works. I never use the auto support or auto orientate function. This will be a first time, so we'll see how that goes. But wow, that looks like a pretty good model. We could do facing and just do that, do that, do that, do that, do that, oh, or that, 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 that. That's kind of an odd one. Should we do that? Like that. It's like 16 parts. Let's swing this around. Yeah, I don't like the auto support. That's for sure. That is going to be a different one there. Just like that. Not sure how that one would print out. That one would print out like that. But we could always throw some of these somewhere else, like that. And kind of build up some plates. And this is still. This is really bogging down. But yeah, let's see what we got here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 parts. Yes, it is. Cool. Just stop that. Stop orientating. It's not working well. There we go. Yeah, not bad. We could combine some of this stuff. So like we could do that. We could do that to make it a little bit. We could do that. I think we could do that. That could work, I think. Auto arrange on plate is having some problems here. Netventive says, is that the K2 Plus? Yes, it is. 350 cube. So it's a little big. So we could go through and we could get rid of some plates there. So now we'd have 10. We could probably combine some more of this stuff together. Like so. And we could do that. We could do that. Let's see, we could probably do this. And maybe that. Yeah, we could. That would work. So we get rid of that one. Now we're down to 9 plates. I think we'd be. Swedish says repair all that is needed to do. Cool. And they did just add repair function to Creality Print. Like it says here on the bottom, like with this one here. Says non-manifold edges, we could go ahead and do the repair. They finally got it for Mac, which is good. Thank you. I've been complaining about that for a while. I love being unsupervised. Oh, I did buy something else, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, but I got a Necron Ghost Arc. So the Ghost Arc is going to be another project that we're going to end up doing, and it's got 2 different options that you can do. But I think I'm going to try to combine it to where it has the full cannon and the transport. So we'll do a little bit of modification on that. But we'll see how that goes. Swedish says, hope you get it out really well now on your K2. Yeah, K2 Plus, going to be rocking it. So let's see, repair. Okay, we'll just do some little repair work here. Might as well get it all done now while we can, so that way I won't forget. Do it now. Do it now. still on the hunt for another printer. I'm kind of holding off. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I definitely want to get another printer, and I definitely want to get a printer that has a larger than 256 build area. I kind of gotten spoiled with the K2 Plus, so I'm thinking the Bamboo H2S, because that's got a larger. It's like a 340 by 320 by 340 or something. So that's pretty good. George says, the pile of shame is staring at you very judgingly. I know. Especially with the Hulk in the background that is like, he's been waiting. I haven't painted him. I need to. But I have an excuse. I don't have my big paint booth done. I'm still working on that. So I've got some, they're not good excuses, but they're excuses. So, but the paint booth is coming along. Matter of fact, I just got some wood in. I did get a jigsaw. So I think it's called a jigsaw. But I'll be able to cut a hole in the back of the booth, of the paint booth, so that I can mount the fan. Then I'll have some wood strips that I can enclose that a little bit on the back. And then besides doing that, I need to make on Tinkercad a filter, kind of like an air conditioning filter type thing, or swamp cooler filter. I need to go through and find one of those at a local store so I can get the dimensions, so I can put that in there, so I don't have paint fumes going into the fan, being pulled by the fan, and electrical fan, paint fumes. What are the odds? We don't want fire blowing out the back of the paint booth, so we definitely need a filter on there. So yeah, but we've got some things to do. George says Halloween is closing in. I know it is. And talking about how we did the gun up there from the whatchamacallit world, whatever. I've got the mask done. What is it? I forgot the name of it. Holy crow. We'll just continue to do the repairs. It's not Fallout. Blah blah blah. This thing. I forget the name of it. That is such a cool model. That is going to be cool. So we 3D printed this. Borderlands. Yes, Borderlands. George reminds me. Borderlands. Swedish Ford says, I only use tree support when needed, nothing else. 5% infill. Take 3 walls, as it was a bit thin, top Z 0.28. So, yeah. But this is the Borderlands. And then we have the rifle up there. So we got that going on. And then, yeah, I need to put a little padding on this. But I mean, just very little. I need to put some padding on the top, which isn't going to be bad. Other than that, let's see what else. Maybe a little bit on the front, on the top, and on the front a little bit. But actually, it's pretty good. So I just need to, and some on the back, so it'll press it in, and it'll be good. So we've got this. So the Borderlands this. We've got the rifle up there, which is right up there. So we got that. I've got the orange pants. I did pull them out, and I do have markers. I got markers in, so I've got black and white markers, so some real wide tip markers, so we'll be able to do that. But we've got this mask, and then we've got another one, for those of you who remember. But this is the one that was for my wife, so it's a little bit smaller. I think I will do this mask here because it's bigger and it's got the spikes. And then, but this one is pretty cool as well. So we'll get the Borderlands one done. And let's see how this turns out. So this one, and we got that. I don't know. What do you like better? This one or this one with the spikes and everything? I like the spikes, but this one isn't bad either. So, yeah, I think I'll do the spikes. I think I'm going to do the spikes. So we're going to get the Borderlands thing. I need to get some some black boots so we can get that going on, and kind of do the same thing with that and try to get that going. But the Borderlands rifle, we've got that. That's in blue, which will work out good because the helmet with the spikes is in blue. So that'll be the thing. And then we'll just have to get like a wife beater t-shirt. We'll, end up doing, some mud and stuff like that and try to get it looking good. We'll see how it goes. Swedish Forge says spikes. George says spikes. I say spikes. So we're going to go with the spikes. So yeah. Let's see. We'll continue on with the repair work. So I really want to get that done. And then they're also talking about doing of course, Halloween is coming up. But they're also talking about at the local game store about doing some cosplay stuff. So I don't know if they're going to do it around Christmas, but I think that would turn out pretty good. So I think it'll be good, especially with the rifle. I also have the pistol, which I could do a holster because I could carry the rifle, and then I could end up having a holster with the pistol. So that turned out good, So yeah, not bad at all. I think it could end up being a cool little project. So we'll see how that all goes. But yeah, I definitely want to do that. And then I don't know. There's so much stuff I want to do, but I would definitely need more. I would definitely need another printer, but I'm kind of because I do have to pay import tax, VAT tax, and stuff like that for items over $150 here in Korea, so it's going to cost a little bit more. But right now I'm leaning towards the Bamboo H2S because that's larger, and I don't know. So many people just love Bamboo that the machines work better than most, and even though even though Bamboo does some pretty shitty things in regards to abusing open source code and trying to punish people that, according to law, have access to the open source codes and all that stuff, I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. George says, wonderful problems a printer brings. I know, right? Yeah. It is so much fun. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I am looking forward to that. So yeah, we will definitely do that. Just finish up repair works on Spidey. So we're finishing up on that so I can save that as a project. And everything will be done. I'll have to go through later and orientate it and everything, and I'll use those settings that Swedish Forge was talking about, which was 5% infill, 3 walls, top Z 0.28. I'll do that. What type of infill did you use, Forge, on your Spidey guy? I was thinking something minimalistic like adaptive cubic. So that way it's not like gyroid or anything like that, which you're going to need some support, but you're not going to need a ton of strength like gyroid or rectilinear or something like that, or honeycomb or whatever. I'm thinking adaptive cubic. I think that would be a good one to try to reduce the amount of filament. So yeah, but that one looks cool. That is a cool looking model. Dun, dun, dun. Swedish says, I'm sending you the hanger I made in FreeCAD Simple. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. We're almost done repairing all of the models, so that's cool. That is so awesome, dude. Thank you very much. He says that that hanger works well. Good, 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 good. Medvedev. George says, check out human skeleton from STL Fix. I'm printing it now. Several days of printing. Hey, Net, if you want to send me the pictures of that when you get it printed out, use my email, officialthevariedlife@gmail.com. I'd like to take a look at that. That would be cool. So, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Let me see what else we got going on. Duolingo sent me an email. Wanted to connect. Maybe we can do a partnership. Interesting. Tinker Atlas. No, I don't want that. Swedish Forge. There it is. Boom. So we'll download that. Thank you very much, sir. And we've got, I think we've got all the models repaired, do we? And just double check. Oh, nope. Skipped one. Told you, got to pay attention. Swedish, what did you say about supports? Not support, but the infill. You said 5% infill for the Spidey guy. What type of infill did you use? I'm assuming adaptive cubic, because you wouldn't want something like gyroid or anything. George says he definitely needs a new skeleton. Infill, yeah, adaptive cubic, cool. And supports, yeah, what type of supports? Do you just do tree support slim or default regular tree supports? Or I'm assuming it would probably be tree supports of some type. Oh, I'm getting hungry. Okay, let me check these models to make sure that they're all repaired. And they are. And we'll add another one. 2. Dun, 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 dun. Swedish says tree default. Gotcha. He's saying, are you going to start now? It's 4 kilos. I'm going to order some filament because I don't want to print this out in the PLA Plus that I have because it's just super hard and brittle. I'd rather do it in just regular PLA, kind of like the Polymaker PLA. So what I'll do is I'll order a couple of 3 kilo spools, and boom, we'll be able to knock that out. That will be the print that I do there. I do have another print that I have to do, which is probably a couple days worth of printing for the game store for doing objective markers and stuff for the Warhammer stuff. And I've got some of their filament, so I got to print that out. That is, I have to do first. But after that, I'll do, and I'm going to print one more of these, but that'll just take a day. But after that, I'll get on the Spidey stuff. So yes, definitely. Let me see. Hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Hack 5 body. Okay. So I think we downloaded that. Hack 5 body 3MF. Okay, got it. I'll bring that in. Oops. Geometry only. Do-do-do-do. And so we got that. Oh, I need another one. Okay. Yeah. There we go. I think we're good. Let me close this up. Sounds good. Will be exciting. Yes, it will. Spider-Man is. It. You know, I love the Hulk, but actually, the very first superhero hero that I really got into was Spider-Man. I just thought it was so cool because you had Peter Parker. You know, he was raised by his aunt and uncle, which is, I can kind of relate to that because I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and coming from a broken home, I kind of related to that. And so Spider-Man was really cool. And since he wasn't a man, he was like a boy, you know, a youngster, that just really clicked with me. And so Spider-Man was the first, I would say was the first big superhero that I really had an affinity to. And then the second one was the Hulk. So those are the big two ones. Other than that, any other superheroes that I just really, those are the two big main ones. Those are the two big main ones. But that is going to be cool. I'm definitely. And let me see. Play around a little bit. And we will do a little bit of rotating some of this stuff around so that dun, 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 dun. Swedish says you mustn't forget to print the spider web. I'll do that with transparent film. Wow. Yeah, I haven't even looked at that. I bet that would look cool. Spider webs. Holy crow. Let's see. STLs. Webs. So it must be under webs. Wow. So it even got webs as well. That would be cool looking. Ned Venom says glow in the dark web. Ooh. That would be cool. And if you could do like glow in the dark eyes, have make insets for the glow in the dark eyes, that would be sharp. Wow. That would be good. Let me see. George says, don't tempt me. Too late. Too late. You're already tempted. Looking over the models and seeing how, make sure everything's on the face and how I should orientate this. Dun, dun, dun. Transparent filament is frosty. Yes. That would look really good. So like, for example, I think I got everything laid out like that. We'll put this over here. So we'll just do 2 items per, except for the head. And those 2 pieces there, I think we're good to go. But this one here, I mean, that's going to be on the flat surface, so that'll be all right. This is not flat, but I'm guessing I could do something like that, orientated like that. And yes, I know it is a little bit too close, so we're going to move some shit like that. So everything else looks like it should be okay. Everything has pretty much flat surface. It's just that hand doesn't have a flat surface. And does that have flat surface? Kind of, sort of, enough of a flat surface. And I think everything else is good. So, and let's see. Let's go ahead and we'll bring in that. And we'll go here. 3 walls. Why is that top surface pattern concentric? I don't know why this has changed. Or wait. Dun, 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 dun. George says, it's bad enough I have to print a spawn for my uncle with glowing eyes. Ooh, that would look really good. What happened to me was that 2 of the parts stopped in the middle of everything and I just resumed the print. I don't know why it did that. What? That's, at least you got it printed. I mean, maybe there was a, maybe there was a pause in the slicing code for some reason. But you did 3 walls, you did 5% infill, we did adaptive cubic. I think plate 6 was the part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would be this one there. When we slice it, we'll see what happens, because like if you go here, yeah, it's probably during the preview. We'll take a look at that and see. Oh, come on. Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. So for global, 5%, adaptive cubic. Everything else should be good. Oh, what was your layer height? 0.2? Why is this set at 0.15? I imported, oh, I think there's some changed settings. So we got that. Dun, 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 dun. 60 supports. Tree manual, nope, tree auto. Default 30, build plate only. Top Z distance 0.31, he said 2.8. Interface spacing. Only default 0.2. Yeah. Discard all that other crap. Okay, so let's get back to it. 0.2, dun, dun, dun. Everything else is default. 3 wall loops. 5%. Adaptive cubic, we've got that. Speed 60 for that. Supports, tree, auto, default, build plate only. Blah, 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 blah. Top Z distance 0.28. Everything else should be good. Blah, we don't have to worry about a prime tower, get rid of that. I don't think that we'll need skirt. Brim, I don't think we'll need brim. We'll just plug auto and see what happens. So we should be good to go. 0.2 layer height. Alrighty. Let's slice all these plates up and see what we get. Da-da-da, that's going to take a minute. Sweetie says it was really easy to remove the supports. That might be, we'll find out. And matter of fact, when I reprint this guy, I'll try changing the support top Z distance to 0.28 and we'll see how that goes. We will definitely see how that goes. I lost see the little thing here? That little tube. I don't have one on this thing. So I got to make that. I'm really happy with that. That turned out good. I have 19 to 13 hours per part. We'll see how this goes. That sounds about right from what it looks like. So we've got basically, I don't know, it's still going. We'll see what happens. Did you slice all together total time and amount for Spider-Man? That's what I'm doing right now. So it's going through and it's on like plate number 3, so it's going to be a little bit. But yeah, we're going to find out and see what we can end up doing. But that looks so cool. Again, imagine him all painted up. The blues and the red and the eyes. Oh man, that is going to be cool. That is a cool one. I like that. Good stuff. Let's see. Go Steve, this is a really cool print. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do this one. I am definitely going to do this one. And I think, oh, that means I got to go find some paint. So I got to find some blue. I got to find some red. Do I have blue? I got a spray can of blue? Let me check. I might have some blue. Blue, 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 blue. Paint and primer blue. Oh, yes. I've got two cans of that are brand new. And do I have any red? Oh, I've got, this is gloss enamel. It's a gloss enamel red. I don't know. I'd have to check in the store. Maybe I'll go to the store today and we'll see what kind of reds they have. I don't think I'd want gloss on that. Maybe not. Is the other one gloss? Is the blue gloss? It just says brilliant blue. That's all it's, yeah, it's a gloss paint. I would need another can of that red. We'll go to the store today and we'll see what kind of reds and blues they have. And so we got 2 cans of the blue, so obviously that would work with this guy. We just need to get some red because that one is almost out. So we'd need 2 cans of that, and we would be well on our way to, boom. That would be good. That is going to look good. Could be really good behind you on the wall. I know, right? It would definitely be a wall thing. I would have to make some room because I'm going to zoom out all the way out there. I need to find some space on the wall. So if I did Spidey, and he said he's 60, which is about 2 feet, we could kind of put Spidey like right here, kind of like right in here, and then we could move that rifle out of the way and move the rifle over. Maybe put Spidey like right up here. like in the center, and just have them come down a little bit. So that way it's kind of like right in this area here. That could look cool. I like it. I like it. When you sprayed, take a marker pen and fill in all the stuff he has on his clothes. Yeah, and I've got acrylic paint markers, so that'll work out well. So that'll be good. Spider-Man. Because really, when we're talking about Spidey, because we've got... let me see if I can find a good picture of him where... Because he's got the red, the blue, and then, is it like black? Yeah, it's kind of like black on the webbing and stuff. I want a real good reference picture. Some of it kind of shows that it's like silver, and you have stuff like that. So the webbing would be black. That would be great for an acrylic marker and stuff like that. So yeah, that would definitely work. So yeah, we could definitely do that. That would be good. That's a great idea. Great idea. That would be good. We got some comments. Sweetest, can I put a link here? Give it a shot. I give it a try. See what happens. If not, you can email it to me, and then I can post the link. I don't know if you can post links or not. I think YouTube doesn't allow links because people would put links to bad things. But if you can't, try it in the comment section. If you can't, email it to me, and then I can post it. So, oh, we got our, how much is this going to take? Let's check this out. Booyah! There it is. So, this is going to be a total of this right here. No, that's not what we want. Let me do this again. Like so. And we'll do this. So we can blow this up a little bit. So, what we end up with is a total of 3,126 grams. It's going to cost $62. And a total of 6 days, 6 hours, and 19 minutes. That's doable. It's under 4 kilo. We can do that. Let's take a look at the plates and see what we see for the... so this one, printing time is 18 hours. Holy crap. Not too many supports, which is good. Only 20 grams of filament for support. 378. Let's take a look at what the infill looks like. That's a lot of infill, guys. You know what? I think... let's drop that down to infill. It's 5%. And all the plates, what does that end up being for plates? 31.26. Let's take this down to 3.75. And we'll slice them all up again and we'll see what happens. I think that'll be, that. I don't think I'd want to go to 3, maybe 3.5, because adaptive cubic is pretty good. You can get, and it's just going to be hanging on a wall. So once you put it together, and then you have the outside walls, which are 3 walls, wall loops, will give you some good stability. So I don't think we'll need that much. I don't think we'll need that much infill. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to go ahead and do that. It's going to take a minute, so we'll do that. But that is a cool looking model. That is a very cool looking model. So yeah, you nailed it on that one. Thank you very, very much. I'm definitely going to print that baby out. So yeah. Ned Venom says Spider-Man takes commitment. Yeah, only 6 days. Come on. It's only 6 days, which isn't bad. But that's another reason why I want to get another printer, is because, and I know the wife isn't gonna, she doesn't understand. It's like, but you already have a printer to print out stuff. And it's like, yeah, but I want to print out bigger things, which is more stuff. So another printer would make it go quicker. And she just kind of shakes her head and rolls her eyes at me. And it's like, but she lets me do it. So yeah, that works out well. It works out well. So I just need to get some filament, which, by the way, since we're on that topic, I got to order the filament now. And let me see if Polymaker PLA, let's see if they have it in Korea. And we want a 3 kilogram spool. But the problem is tough PLA. No, I don't want that. Polymaker 3D PLA, 1 kilo is 37,000 won. I might have to order it through Amazon because a Polymaker PLA, they only have tough PLA. It's 162,000 won. Which is about $108. And they don't have, maybe it'll have 2.5 kilo spools. Dun, dun, dun. 1 kilo, 1 kilo, 1 kilo. They don't have, yeah, I'm gonna have to do Amazon. It'll just take like a week to get here, which won't be bad. Boom, orders. And I got a new build plate coming in. I ordered the BQ Cryo Grip Pro Glacier build plate because my original build plate on the K2 Plus, some of the material is flaking off. So basically that one's done. Let's look at orders. I want to look at filament. Polymaker PLA Black in a 3 kilogram spool. Yes, which is $49. So it pays, remember on coupon, it was like 162,000 won, which is like $100, just over $100. Boom, get it off of Amazon. It'll take like a week or two to get here, but it's $50. So only one in stock. Oh, seriously? I better buy that now. Well, let's hold off. Polymaker PLA 3 kilogram. I could do it in white. Ooh, they got it in white. 3 kilo white. They have a gray. You got Sunlu PLA Plus. I don't like PLA Plus. Polymaker, 3 kilo spool, $78. Maybe we'll just do the white, because that's only $49. And they got more than one roll. And that total came out to, oh, we got the new totals. Hold on. For reducing that infill for Spidey, which is going to be a total of 2,890. So we're able to drop that down a little bit. 6 hours, 6 days, 1 hour and 27 minutes. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. But if we kind of go back, Swedish says he would go, he would take gray. I wonder if they have gray. Let me take a look. Dun, 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 dun. Do they have gray? Yes, they do have gray. And there's 11 in stock, so we'll do 2 of those. $49.99. And yes, yes. Boom. We're ordering those. Make sure it's going to the right address. I want to save my points for something big. Swedish says, you don't see the other messages. Oh, sorry about that. I will paint him in red and blue metallic. Ooh. That would be nice. Yeah. That could be good too. I'll have to look and see if they have metallic. I don't, the times I've been at the store where they have paint on the military base, they've got the red and the blue, but I haven't seen any metallic. The only metallic paint that I've seen is like a gold and a silver metallic. And I think I've got like 1 or 2 of those, but I'll have to check. Search for 3D printed life-size Spider-Man statue. Holy crow. That would be wild. This should get here about 7 August. 7 to 10 August. And we are placing the order for 2 3-kilogram spools of Polymaker PLA filament in fossil gray. Boom! We got it. It's on order. We'll see what happens. Swedish says to search for the life-size statue and to check it out on YouTube. We'll see. Okay, we can do that. YouTube. Boom. Or nope. Boom. Yep. And search for 3D printed life-size Spider-Man statue. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Wow. El Diablo is the channel. Okay. El Diablo. There it is. There's the dude.
Hey, guy.
So he does that. Oh, look at that. He printed it in black. That just looks cool right there. Holy crow. Ah. Wow. Dude, you could just do that in black and leave it. You wouldn't even have to paint it. It looks cool in black. Holy crow. Oh, I have to subscribe to him. Thanks for letting me know about him. He looks good. Like and subscribe. Oh, yeah. Let's see. He goes through and he paints it. Yeah. Boom. Yes. You could leave it in total black. You wouldn't have to paint it. I mean, you'd have to paint it, but I mean, you could just paint it in black and that would look gorgeous. That looks really good. Just go for the symbiote suit. Yeah, that could look hot as well. Let's see what else. And he does a little blue. Oh, he does Createx. Oh, that is an awesome looking blue. Oh, I wonder if my paint booth, how wide it is. Because if that's 60, let me check my paint booth. How wide it is. Will that fit? No! The opening in my paint booth is 53. But it is, the depth is going to be 67. But should have made a bigger paint booth. But look at that. That is a good color. Holy crow. That is nice. So there's the paint that he ended up using. Airbrush colors, water brush, pearlized. Ooh, that looks good. That looks good. Swedish says you don't have to paint the whole thing together. You could just paint parts. Yeah, and then put it together, and then you could, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's doable. That's entirely doable. That looks really good. And then he's going to go in and do red. And I do have a spray gun, a pull trigger spray gun, not just a regular, all that taped off and everything. Oh, that's going to look hot. And then the yellow. What's he going to do with the yellow? Oh, he's just cranking yellow in there. Oh, okay, gotcha. A little bit of highlight action. That's kind of like what I did on the smaller Hulk that I did. Oh, nice. I like that. So you get some I never would have thought using yellow would be a good highlight for red. But it is light. Oh, for the shadow areas. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the red and the blue. That makes quick work of the shadows. Just get it right in the creases and all of that. Yep. I could do that. Even I could do that. Oh yeah, that looks good. Let's see, continues on. See what it looks like without the, yeah, little paint marker there. Paint marker to the rescue. Yeah, it is cool as hell. That is good. Look at that. Okay, let's see if we can fill this up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. Paint marker to the rescue. Yeah. Boom. Oh, dude, that looks so cool. That looks good. Flat clear. Okay. Gotcha. I don't know if I'd be able to find that. I could find something like that. Kind of seal in all the... Ooh, look at that. Oh, that looks beautiful. And then what's he going to do? He tapes off the eyes. Paints them all white. And then he does a little bit of gray in there. Gotcha. Do that little tiny shadow bit. So he just says, I got a small hole in my left shoulder because I only had 2 walls, but easily fixed. Oh, yeah. Did you see the blue metallic? Yes, I did. I'm definitely going to check this. Yeah, that's going to turn out sharp. So good. Then clear gloss. Yep. Taper up. That looks really sharp. Oh. Ah. Oh, yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Ooh, he's doing the, must be the webs. Yes, they are. Ooh. Wow. Oh, that looks awesome. Yes. That is sharp. Bro, that is so cool. Am I hearing that slow? Nice. Oh, that looks so good. Thank you for turning me on to this guy, El Diablo. He's got some cool shit. The Spider-Man looks so cool. Oh, yeah. Boom. That is awesome. That is awesome. That is so cool. I think it'd be very easy to paint. Yes, it would be. Because, yeah, you're looking at some blue, you're looking at some red, doing shadows with the red and the blue to kind of darken it up. You got that. I think he did something similar to, he used white, if I'm not mistaken, with some blue. I don't know. I'd have to go through the video, but doing some shading isn't that hard. And that's just an awesome job. That's where I got the idea for the hanger. He had metal, but I had PET G. Yeah. That is cool. Nice. That is really, really good. But I mean, you got to admit, I mean, even in the beginning, when he just prints it out and it's in black, I mean, in black, it looks awesome as well. Holy crow. I mean, shit, that looks hot. You could just do the whites of his eyes and do the Spider-Man noir type of thing. Oh, so he did like a little cleat thing. Let's go back. So I see what you're saying. You did the little, whatchamacallit thing there. Yeah, so he's got the little cleat. Kind of like a little tool hanger type thing. Yeah. Nice. Nice, nice. Just fill in some little gaps there and you're good to go. Just kind of scribe it with a little picker and you are good. That is cool. That is a good one. Going up on the wall. We're going to be doing that. I am excited about that. I am really excited about that. That is going to look good. I thought my wall was done. Apparently not. That is going to go cool. And I'll have to put it right in the center. So it's like right in here. Because you said that was like 60 by 60 by whatever. So it'd be like that, like that. So yeah, he's going to dip into this here, but that is going to look cool. We'll just put them like right over this right here. Oh, I love 3D printing. Ooh. And my wife just stares at me and she's like, oh, whatever. Says, oh, that's not what I wanted. Get back there. My phone just suddenly became the camera. Swedish Forge. He says, you look like you're in a candy store. I know, right? That is just so cool. I will destroy your wall. But I mean, even if you're lazy, you print this out in just matte black and then just do the whites of his eyes. You got Spider-Man Noir going on and you're good. Spider-Man Noir. So if we take a look at some, I mean, granted, he doesn't have like the hat or whatever that he has in like the, let me see if we can find a good picture of him. You know, something like that, to where he's, you know, he's just in the black. He doesn't have the coat on, but even in just black, that would work. You know, with the white eyes and everything. I mean, if you're lazy. But I would have to paint him the red and the blue because that looks so much better. But if you're lazy, you could do that. Cool. That is awesome. For a while, he was black with white spider on his chest. Yeah, that would look cool. The eyes, the spider. You could even probably just do the white acrylic marker on the spider webbing on his suit. That would look cool. That would look good too. I would have to do the red and the white. If you're going to do it, let's go all the way. It's Spider-Man. You have to go all the way with that. So yeah, we're looking at 2,000, just under 3 kilos to do it with like a 3.75 infill. So if we take a look at this, we'll see how the infill pattern is. So again, yeah, we'll kind of drop this down to 3.75 adaptive cubic. Let's pull up one of the plates. And done 17 hours, $6.95. But what I want to do is I want to look at the infill. Oh yeah, that'll work. I think that will work. That's enough infill there. This is going to be cool. So let's go ahead. We'll save this project as Spider-Man. I'll just leave him as that. And iCloud Drive. Where's my Crowley files? I'll do a new folder. Spider-Man SF from Swedish Forge. Boom. And there we go. Exporting that into, and that is good. Swedish Ford says that's right. I weighed a lot, so it was like 3 to 4 kilograms. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I just need to find a way. Hopefully, the connectors, because in the apartment here, it's a little bit different. There is drywall, but behind that is concrete. So it's not really normal to hang stuff or drill into the concrete. It's not really a thing. A lot of people don't do it because they're renting. I own this apartment, so I could drill into the wall if I actually wanted to. But we'll try some different things to see if we can hang that on there. But we're gonna hang that one way or another. That is gonna, and probably right around that area there. So probably right there, and it would be good to go. That's gonna look good. That is gonna look good. Dun, dun, dun. I also noticed that if you let the part end up on the plate, they printed really well without changing angles. If you let, I also noticed that if you let the part end up on the plate, they printed really well. So in other words, taking the flat surface, putting that on the build plate. So kind of like, we'll see if we can get this to pop in. Kind of like this being the flat surface there. And then, yeah, very little supports, almost next to nothing. You know, like that there. That one would be a little bit different. Like this one. Let's get this out of the way. Maybe we could do something like that. So we'd have some supports on the bottom, but we have a flat surface, and we wouldn't mar any of the model there. So I think that would be good. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Mr. Forge. These I think are good. Let's see, how does that look? That's on the flat surface, so we're good there. That's flat, I think we're good. Swedish says you can try it. Should be good. Those are on flat surfaces, so that'll be good. That's flat, those are flat. That's flat, that's flat. The cleats are flat. I think that would be good. Just with this cleat system, that'll be an interesting little thing. If 3 connectors are going to be enough for me to be able to get in contact with that wall and hang it. I'd rather not drill into the drywall, but if I have to, I will. So yeah, not bad. That is a cool looking model, bro. Definitely a cool looking model. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. So we did a number of things. So we did our little model here for our Necrons. So we'll print out another one of these a little bit better. But I mean, that's not bad either. I mean, I could just do this and not print another one of these. But I have this PLA Plus, this cheap PLA Plus that I have that I'm not going to use it for anything else, I don't think. So I think I'll just reprint that with it being cut. And then that's only going to be 20 hours or something. I can't remember. Oh, we orientated some new stuff and it shows. Boom, there. So a total of, yeah, it'll be 3 kilos, $58. 3 walls, 3.5% infill, adaptive cubic, top Z distance 0.28. We'll give that a shot because Swedish Forge recommends that, so we're going to go ahead and run with that. And a total of 6 days and 2 hours and 32 minutes of printing. Plate number 1. Yeah, we can do this. Let's just do this. And we can throw this on the screen like so. So plate number 1 is 17 hours, 14, 18, 14, 18, 11, 17, 8, 10, 13, 1 hour. Pretty good, pretty good. Swedish says, cheap, and you can probably sell models for $2,000. I didn't even think about selling. But for something like that, ooh, I might, we'll see how this goes. I'm definitely going to print this for myself. But depending on the process and how far it goes and how it goes, I might, that could, people I think would love that. So that is definitely something. Yeah, good stuff. I want to see what some of these plates look like as far as the support material. Almost next to nothing. Let's see what this one looks like. Little to no. The hand is going to need a little bit, which isn't going to be bad. Only saw 11th plates on the list. Yes, because what I ended up doing was I combined some of the pieces. So like this plate here, we have 2 pieces there. We got 2 on this one, 3 on this one, 2 on this one. So we're able to consolidate a little bit. We've got 2 on the first one there. So that way we can kind of consolidate it down. So we're down to 11 plates. And honestly, I mean, I could take, I could do something like that, and then I could move that like there. And so now we're down to 10 plates. I think we're good. Everything would be good to go. I'm Swedish. Swedish. Yes, indeedy. So yeah, don't you love large build plate printers? Put more stuff on them. So yeah, we'll slice that all up and we should be good to go. And just kind of reviewing 3 wall loops, 3.75 infill density, adaptive cubic, we've got that. 0.2 layer height, 3 wall loops. We're good to go. Everything else is good. Top Z distance, 0.28. We're going to be using Swedish Forge. Forge's recommendation. We won't need that. We won't need that. We should be good. He says the model is not as heavy as I thought it would be. Yeah, I get it. And especially because it's bigger. So if it was really small and it was 4 kilos, then it would seem heavy. But with a larger item, yeah, I wouldn't think it would be that bad. So yeah, this is going to be 2,902.34 grams and 6 days, 2 hours and 33 minutes. Not bad at all. Let's go ahead and save that puppy because I want to save it. Save it because I'm going to do it. Do take 3 wall. Let's double check. Layer height 0.2, and we have 3 walls. So yes, we do. Oh, I was in the way. That's why. Yes, we have 3 walls. Ding! Because you said that would be too thin on that one part, and I agree. For something like that, I'd do 3 walls. So for like a small miniature like this, I mean, 2 walls could be okay. I did 3 walls on this, and this is just really robust. Holy crap. But for something like the Spider-Man, I would definitely do 3 walls. That was an excellent call on that. So yeah. Bork bork or pork pork. I don't know what that means. I'll do beef beef. I will kill me some beef. Matter of fact, yesterday we went to a Korean restaurant after we hit the gym, the wife and I, and it was like an all-you-can-eat. It was like 26,000 won. Rice was like, the soup was 4,000, rice was another 1,000, so 26, 30, 31,000. It's 31,000 won per person. And if we divide that up by 1,500, it was $20 per person, but it was all you could eat beef. So I can put down some beef. So they see me coming through the door. They're like, oh shit, we might lose a little bit of money. But it was so good. The meat was marbled. They have the grill right in front of you. You grill it yourself. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was so good. Pork, 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 pork. Kidding. But talking about pork, usually I don't eat pork. I mean, I like pork, but pork doesn't like me. My stomach doesn't like it. I've got a stomach thing going on that where if I eat pork, it makes it worse. But beef and chicken, I'm all over that. And I can have pork every once in a while. Swedish Ford says, me, love that meat. I love the meats. And Hanu beef here in Korea, it's like Wagyu beef in Japan. It is so good. You can't eat regular beef after you have Hanu beef. It just pisses you off because it's so good, because you know you will eat the Hanu beef and then you're like, I have to go back to regular meat, and it's just not good because you had the Hanu. So, but down in Jeju-do, which is an island off the southern tip of Korea, it's part of Korea, they have black pork, which is supposed to be the most delicate and decadent pork that you've ever had in your life. So we're going to go down. We're going to take a trip down to Jeju-do, and we're going to see how that works out. So yeah, we're going to get. I'll sacrifice a little bit of uncomfortableness for a single meal, and we'll knock that one out. So yeah. Yeah, you become like a little child and do it in a diaper. No, it's not that bad. I can eat pork, but my stomach gets upset. It doesn't like I have the runs or anything, but I've got GERD and some other stuff going on. So it ends up, I can do pork, but very rare. And so I pretty much try to stay away from pork altogether. But every once in a while, I have a couple pieces of bacon. When we go down to Jeju-do to get the black pork, I don't know why it's called black pork, but it is. But it's supposed to be. They said there's people that said that they don't like pork at all, that have had black pork that are like, say, I've changed my mind on pork. So, yeah, that's some serious transition there. So yeah, we'll make a video of that when we go down to Jeju-do. But yeah, it's fun. It is fun. But yeah, it could be worth doing an adult diaper for some black pork. I think I would do it because so many people say it is so good. We'll see what happens. You know, you buy diapers in your chair. I mean, I could drop my shorts and show you. I don't have diapers on now. Now being the key word. So that's funny. That is too funny. Anyway, yeah, that is cool. Thank you so much for the files on that. This is an awesome file. It'll be good. So, Forge, when you get that done, get it all painted and everything, we definitely got to take a look at that. And then that is definitely, I will print that out. I will print that out for sure. So yeah, we'll do a quick reprinting of this thing to see if I get a little bit better quality, less supports, so I can nail that down. So somebody else is interested, I could throw him a bone and do that. And then I have those terrain features, little terrain objective markers that I have to do for Warhammer for a store. That's going to be probably about 2 or 3 days of printing. And because I only have the one printer, and then it will be off to the Spider-Man. We will do the Spider-Man. So yeah, cool. Alrighty, so that's it. I think we've done enough. We've been on here for about 3.5 hours, so that was fun. I enjoyed it. And boom, we'll go to the obligatory outro page. So there it is. If you want to email me or anything, that's the email address, official, the variedlife@gmail.com. Bunch of people bought me coffees. You can do that. Or files, that's Spider-Man files. Again, thank you, Swedish Forge, for that. That is so kind of you. That is awesome. That is going up on the wall for sure. We are definitely printing that out. So unless I die or become incapacitated, we are doing the Spider-Man. So thank you very much for that. Swedish Forge says, sorry, man, I'm a little tired. That's when my bad mood comes in. Totally get it. I understand. No problem whatsoever. It is all good. If you can't take a little bit of ribbing, a little bit of joking around, you need to work on that. So yeah, it is what it is. Okay, Swedish says, sounds good, Steve. Have a nice day. Say hi to your wife. I definitely will. Still trying to get her to come on camera. She's not really she's camera shy. But we're kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. Maybe we can get some more of her into the videos and see her point of view and stuff. We'll see how that goes. But with that said, I got to get something to eat. It is 11:30, almost 11:30 in the morning here. I am starving. I haven't had breakfast. So I'm hangry. I'm going to go get food. You like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. All right? And the last word, Ned Venom says, have a good day, all. And I concur. We'll see you on the next one. Peace. Good stuff.